Hey guys, it's Moppie. I've been really looking forward to driving this car. It is the Mini John Cooper Works. Lovely little John Cooper Works badge here. Huge Brembo brakes, like these are massive. 230 horsepower. It's the most powerful serial production Mini ever made, and I'm going to go drive it. I'm looking forward to it, honestly. This is the new Mini John Cooper Works. What can I say? It is covered in fun, and it is fast. Like, it is properly fast. It is full of fun touches. Mini are very proud of how much fun this car is, and they like to emphasize that. They're also very proud of it in general. It is the fastest serial production Mini ever made. And that's quite a claim because there have been lots of fast Minis in the past. It is filled with lots of fun features, gadgets, things that just kind of scream, I'm fun. It's almost a bit too much. Sometimes it's trying to be fun. The outside of the car is very distinctive. We get red caps on the rear view mirrors. There's John Cooper Works badges everywhere. Gets a special rear wing and wheels unique to the John Cooper Works. Inside you've got this big center cluster that is covered in checkered flags and kind of made to look like a big gauge. The LEDs in the middle all do funny things. When you turn the temperature up and down on the air conditioning, changes color. Does the same thing when you turn the stereo up and down. When you put it in green mode, it flashes green. We'll ignore green mode because it's dumb. Typical Mini driving is the middle driving mode. It's not normal, it's typical fun. Then we put it in sport mode. Same as the Cooper S, you get maximum go-kart feel, shows up on the front there. And it's very go-kart like. The first impression you get is, wow, this car is fast. To put in perspective just how fast it is, the original Mini weighed about 650 kilos. The last of the Cooper S's had a 1275cc motor, making 77 horsepower. This car has a 2-litre twin-cam variable valve lift and duration twin scroll turbo, making 230 horsepower. It's 3 times as much horsepower for only twice the weight, but the torque is 320 Newton meters. Excuse me, roundabout, fun mode. Yes, it is fun at roundabouts. The 320 Newton meters is infinitely more than what the original Mini made. It is a phenomenal amount of torque for a little lightweight front-wheel drive hatchback. All thanks to this BMW engine. You'll find it in a lot of BMWs. You'll only find it in the Mini John Cooper Works, and BMW you'll only find in Europe, I can't remember what it is, with the 230 horsepower configuration in it. Interestingly, it feels better than when it was in that 125i that I drove. Now you're thinking John Cooper Works, it's an impressive name. John Cooper was a very influential man in the world of motorsport. He basically defined the current single-seater chassis layout of the engine behind the driver. He did that in Formula One in the early 60s, I think. People can correct me. And it just blew everyone away. The cars were amazingly fast. He upset Ferrari. Then in the mid-60s, he got involved with Mini. They wanted to go racing. And it was all Austin Mini, British Motor Corporation at the time. They wanted to go racing and decided the Mini would be a good platform for it. He was brought on to help turn the little humble Mini into a race car. The result was the Mini Cooper and the Mini Cooper S, and in the mid-60s they were some of the fastest road cars available. They were seriously quick little cars. Now the original Mini was made right up until the year 2000, and it carried a Cooper badge right up until that point. BMW bought the Mini brand in about 94, 95, I think, and they kept making that original Mini, along with continuing plans that were already in place to produce a new Mini. Now, people complain that the new Mini, the car that came out in 2001, now in its third generation, isn't a real Mini. The original Mini would never survive in the modern world. It's just too small and it's not safe enough. In order to make the car commercially viable, it has to meet certain requirements in terms of size and safety. That's just the world we live in. Get over it. And it's not a problem because this car is doing really well. I've driven a Cooper S and it's a really genuinely fun car. And even a Mini 1 that they don't sell here, the absolute base model car, is fun because it's just a nice combination of wheels in the right place, lightweight, reasonably firm chassis, and some fantastic styling. The styling on the John Cooper Works, it's going to get you lots of attention. If you don't want attention, probably not the car for you. I've been driving it for nearly a week now, and yeah, I get looks. I get lots of looks. So what is it like to drive? I mean, we're talking about apparently the fastest Mini in history. Well, here's the first problem. Automatic gearbox is pretty average. It is faster with the auto. 6.1 to 100, so it's definitely fast, but the manual will be so much more engaging. If you buy this car, do not get the auto box. If you get the auto box, you're a dick. Hand in your man card and go away. The manual, however, I'm sure would make this a much more appealing drive. Unfortunately, this car eventually will end up on a yard somewhere for sale, and resale value means it comes with an auto. The handling at 80%, it's fun. It really is fun. It goes really well. Changes direction very quickly, very easily. The power is fantastic. It is, as I said, really, really quick. Definitely one of the faster hot hatches in a straight line. It's agile. It'll change direction quickly. Does everything you expect a hot hatch to. There's a good amount of grip. Not as much as I expected. These tyres are Pirelli P7s, and they're kind of more of an eco tyre. And they're certainly within the Mini market. People that are into the whole economy thing. I don't get it. I don't get why you would put those tyres on what's supposed to be a very fast Mini, and they do hold it back a little bit. I can get them squealing at speeds that I wouldn't really thought they would squeal at, and this is well below legal road speeds without being a complete dick. They tend to slide around a little bit. I think they're not the best tyres for the car. Throttle response is generally very good, especially when you consider that it's a 2-litre engine that has a massive torque curve. You just tend to ride the torque out of the corners. Again, it's blunted by this automatic gearbox. Really wish this car was a manual. I'm sure it would be a very different experience. In sport mode, which we're in now, the suspension is very hard over rough ground. Very, very hard. In fact, I was driving it the other day and went over a change in road surface, and the front wheel lifted off the ground and the traction control had to take over. It's just a little bit, I'll be honest, it's a little bit too hard. I think it's part of the theatre. I think it's what adds some of that fun, but when you really want to drive, it actually becomes quite intrusive. These seats are, actually not as good as I thought they'd be. They're actually an optional extra, and they're a little bit hard as well. They need a bit of adjustable lumbar on them. They don't come in quite far enough, and I'm moving around a lot, and I'm not a small guy, you know, I've got a bit of width on me. The brakes are amazing. Huge Brembo brakes with John Cooper Works logos on them, and man does this car stop. Wow, fantastic brakes. Other manufacturers could learn a thing or two there about how to put good brakes on a car. No such thing as too big. The steering is where things start to fall over. Normal driving, it's great, but it's not terribly direct. For suspension this hard, the steering needs to be sharper. It's great for Mini Cooper S level, but this is John Cooper Works level. It should be sharper. It should be more precise. And off center, there's actually a little bit of wiggle room, which, you know, shouldn't happen. I suspect it's to do with geometry and the rack that's used, but it blunts the car a little bit, blunts that edge. So the biggest complaint I have with this car is the rear suspension, or the way the rear of the car feels. When you turn into a corner, it rotates nicely. When you really turn into a corner, when you're trying to drive with some precision and involvement, it actually tips the back out. It's like the bum waggles, and it's deliberately engineered into the car, and it's not because of the suspension setup in terms of weight distribution and spring rates. There's something else going on there, and it's a really disconcerting feeling because you turn in and then you turn back out again as the back wiggles out, and then you have to turn back in again to find your apex and get the car back online. It does the same thing under brakes. It's a very odd feeling. You come up to a corner, you brake, you turn in, the back comes out, you turn out, then you have to turn back in again. Whereas normally you just expect the car to rotate and to hold that rotation. And it doesn't do that. It's very, I don't know, I don't like it. Then when you get it right up on its tippy toes, it doesn't become engaging. There's that movement in the steering that isn't precise and direct enough. And with this automatic gearbox, the throttle response isn't direct enough. And the whole car just kind of falls flat. It's like there's this really great combination of really great parts, and the refinement of how they work together isn't quite there. I love the exhaust bangs. I love the brakes. When driving it at about 60 or 70%, just being silly, it's fun. But when you actually try and drive it, it really doesn't work. I suspect that Jazz RS with the Mugen suspension would see this off well and truly round a set of corners. Obviously this car would be considerably faster in a straight line, but round a tight twisty road, I don't think it could keep up with that Mugen. And that's a shame, because it should be able to. In fact, it should be able to go faster. I'm not sure John Cooper would be entirely happy with his name on this car. And it doesn't make a lot of sense. The original Mini Cooper was a lightweight, agile, very nimble car. And this is, for modern standards, lightweight, agile and nimble, until you start trying to drive it with a degree of precision. And the current Cooper S, which I drove the Goodbye Pork Pie version of, was fun, and it was agile, and it was nimble. I'm not entirely sure where they've gone wrong with this one. It may be a different beast on a track. That may be its secret. I have seen some reviews from overseas where they have taken it on the track, and they did mention that it was a lot more fun. maybe that being set up for fun on the track has compromised its ability on the road. Oh, I don't know. See, there it was just doing the little wobbly thing, and it's not as engaging, it's not as involving as I want it to be. I want more, Mini. I want a more refined package. I want this much power, but I want more direct steering. I want better damping for New Zealand roads, or for any kind of backcountry road, really. And I want to be, I'm looking forward to the next one. There's a challenge for you, Mini. Make the next one better.